I know some of you struggled to understand chapter 12, so I'm going to read it again to you. There are some really tricky words, and it is a challenge to read, so I'm going to try it again. Edward did not have much time to savor the light, for the dog suddenly appeared above him, dark and shaggy, blocking his view. Edward was pulled out of the garbage by his ears, dropped and then picked up again, this time around the middle, and shaken back and forth with a great deal of ferocity. And we've talked about ferocity before. It's when things are really fierce or almost a little bit violent. The little dog growled deep in its throat and then dropped Edward again and looked him in the eye. Edward stared back. "Hey, get out of here, you dog!" It was Ernest, king of garbages, and therefore king of the world. The dog grabbed Edward by his pink dress and took off running. "That's mine! That's mine! All garbage is mine!" Ernest shouted. "You come back here!" But the little dog did not stop. The sun was shining, and Edward felt exhilarated. Exhilarated is just another word for excited or energized. Who, having known him before, would have thought that he could be so happy now, crusted over with garbage, wearing a pink dress, held in the slobbery mouth of a dog, and being chased by a madman? But he was happy. The dog ran and ran until they reached a railroad track. They crossed over the tracks, and there, underneath a scraggly tree, in a circle of bushes, Edward was dropped in front of a large pair of feet. And I hope you're thinking about why Edward would be happy all of a sudden in this situation. The dog began to bark. Edward looked up and saw that the feet were attached to an enormous man with a long, dark beard. And I want you to close your eyes and visualize that man. Big feet, an enormous man, which is another way of saying a really big man with a long, dark beard. And remember, a beard is what grows on your face. "What's this, Lucy?" said the man. He bent and picked up Edward. He held him firmly around the middle. "Lucy," said the man, "I know how much you enjoy rabbit pie." Lucy barked. Yes, I know. Rabbit pie is a true delight, one of the pleasures of our existence, or one of the pleasures of our life. Lucy let out a hopeful yip. Yip is another way of saying a bark. "And what have we here? What have you so graciously delivered to me? It is definitely a rabbit, but the best chef in the world would be hard-pressed to make him into a pie." And you know why that is, because Edward is made of china. Lucy growled, "This rabbit is made of china, girl." The man held Edward closer to him. They looked each other in the eye. "You're made of china, aren't you, Malone?" He gave Edward a playful shake. "You are some child's toy, am I right? And you have been separated somehow from the child who loves you." Edward felt again the sharp pain in his chest. He thought of Abilene. He saw the path leading up to the house on Egypt Street. He saw the dusk descending and Abilene running toward him. Now remember, the dusk is what happens when it goes from the sunny day into the night. So when it's starting to get dark and the sky turns gray, that's the dusk. Yes, Abilene had loved him. "So, Malone," said the man. He cleared his throat. You are lost. That is my guess. Lucy and I, we're lost too. At the sound of her name, Lucy let out another yip. Perhaps, said the man, you would like to be lost with us. I have found it much more agreeable to be lost in the company of others. My name is Bull. Lucy, as you may have surmised or guessed, is my dog. Would you care to join us? Bull waited for a moment, staring at Edward, and then, with his hands still firmly around Edward's waist, the man reached one enormous finger up and touched Edward's head from behind. He pushed it so it looked as if Edward were nodding his head in agreement. Look, Lucy, he is saying yes, said Bull. Malone has agreed to travel with us. Isn't that swell? And isn't that great? That's what swell means. Lucy danced around Bull's feet, wagging her tail and barking. And so it was that Edward took to the road with a hobo and his dog. Now remember, a hobo is someone who travels from place to place. They don't really have a home. I hope you enjoyed Chapter 12. Stay tuned for Chapter 13. I hope you've enjoyed the latest chapter in the Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane by Kate DiCamillo. Click on the links in the description of this video to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Y2K Teacher, HRCE, or to check out my website with more exciting resources. These chapters have been read to you by members of the Bedford, Nova Scotia community. These community members have been brought together through the Talk Bedford Facebook group.